Hello, my name is Carzel Brown.
My name is Charmiane.
Welcome. You are listening to Power Your Story podcast.
Season 2.
In this season, we are exploring both power and beauty.
One way to reflect your inner beauty on the outside is to take a good care of your hair.
In this episode, Sonia Dominguez is talking with Chicago-based hairstylist and color educator SarahMya about beauty, success, and business.
Thank you for listening. Enjoy the show. Hello, my name is Sonia Dominguez, and today I'm going to talk with hairstyle and color design, Miss SarahMya. SarahMya, thank you for being here on the show today.
Thank you so much for having me, Miss Sonia.
Okay, welcome. Please tell me about what do you do for your life?
For work, I am a hairstylist. I do both cutting and color, but color is my favorite.
Okay. How long have you been hairstyling?
Oh, I'm grown folk. I've been doing hair for over 20 years.
Oh,
I know, I'm old.
Yeah, well, okay, what do you first color? How old was you?
Oh, it's funny. I really wasn't that interested in hair when I was growing up. I thought I was going to be a marine biologist. Do you know Jacques Cousteau? No. I wanted to swim in the ocean with sea animals, basically. But I got a job when I was in high school as a shampoo girl in a hair salon. And that was really my first experience seeing what hairstylists do. And I fell in love with it.
How do you learn?
So to become a hairstylist, you have to be certified by the state. So you go to school, cosmetology school. In the state of Illinois, you need 1,500 hours, which you can usually do in 8 months. And you take a test with the state board, and then you acquire your license. But really, when doing hair, that's just the beginning of your journey. After that, you hopefully find a salon that has a strong education program that will help you become better and better as the years go by.
Okay, do you ever make a big mistake while you was learning?
Oh yeah, I made a lot of mistakes. Of course, that's how you learn, right? I made a lot of mistakes, too many to count, and I feel like I still do make mistakes sometimes, but luckily I'm someone who is so afraid of making mistakes that I tend to go very slowly with the work I do. So when cutting hair, I take little bits, I take forever on a haircut. So that gives me room to make a mistake and still fix it.
Okay.
Is it bad or dangerous to color your hair?
Yeah.
It can be. I know, it's scary, right? Luckily, in the last 5 years, there are hair color companies that have really made great strides in making the ingredients that are used in hair color much less toxic for the skin and hair. So they're much more gentle, while at the same time being effective in what they're made to do. So not so much anymore. It's becoming less and less toxic.
Okay, what is your favorite hair color print and why?
My favorite hair color line is by a company called of&nbsp. They're based out of Parma, Italy, and they are my favorite company because I respect them so much as a company. They do so much for their community, for their employees, and for the environment. They are a strong ethics-based company. Their products are incredibly clean. They have a very high standard in the quality of ingredients that they use. So it's safe for the hair, skin, and nails. It's safe for the environment.
How could I take good care of your hair?
I believe in simplicity. Everybody's hair has totally different needs. I do believe that it is important to find someone like a hairstylist to build a relationship with, where they take time and care enough to listen to what your hair needs and are willing to come up with a system that fits your schedule, your budget, your lifestyle. Even if it's something as simple as coming in twice a year for a haircut and you use one shampoo, one conditioner, one leave-in treatment. It can be very simple, but it is smart to come up with a plan.
What about over here type?
Everybody's hair has completely different needs, but it can be simplified down to needing moisture or protein. Basically, less is more. The less you do to your hair, the better it is for your hair. The closer you keep your haircut and color to what the hair naturally wants to do, the more gentle you are to your hair. So I believe in keeping your hair as natural as possible. Like if your hair is curly, let it be curly. If it's straight, let it be straight.
Okay. What does inspire you to do what you do?
I enjoy more the experience of being a hairstylist versus just playing with hair. So I'm inspired by the clients that I work with and the people that I get to meet every day. I get to work with 3 to 7 different clients every day that I work. And so that to me is more fulfilling. I love how it makes people feel when they take the time to come in and get their hair done. And even if we don't do anything different, it can be really empowering for people to come in and take care of their hair.
Do you have a favorite story from your life, your work?
I was thinking about this question, and it's difficult to answer because I've been in the hair world for so long, and I've worked in many different salons, and every salon had its own cast of characters. And every day I work with a whole different cast of clients that comes in. So what's great about my job is that every day I come home with new stories. And so it's really hard to pick one story that stands out from all of the daily stories that happen. My job is really fun, and it tends to be a fast-paced environment. So hilarity ensues every day on a daily basis. So it's hard to pick out one story. I'm sorry, that's a boring answer, but it's a fun job. And so every day you have new stories.
It's important to see your beauty in what we create.
Yes, I do believe it's important to see beauty in what I create, but more, I need to be confident in the work that I'm doing, because if I'm not confident about it, the client won't be comfortable about my work or confident about my work. But really, at the end of the day, it's more important that the client sees beauty in my work, because I could do something on their hair that me and everybody else in the salon thinks is amazing, and they could hate it. And it's far more important that they love the work that I do and see beauty in the work that I do versus me seeing it.
Do you consider yourself to be an artist?
No, I don't. I think what I do every day has to have a level of practicality to it. It has to function. And so what I do in the salon on a day-to-day basis is much more of like a honed craft versus when you look at editorial work, like pictures of hair in magazines or on the runway, that to me is more about art and seeing hair as artistry.
Okay. How do you know what is beautiful?
Oh man, that's a really hard question. I think education and research and spending time in whatever your career is at looking at the history of what has been done before. So for a hairstylist, it would be looking at the history of hair and looking at the trends that happen and why, and understanding the cultural relevance and why they exist. It's mostly about education and training your eye.
Okay, where do you work now?
I am lucky enough to work at a hair salon called the Circle Salon. It's in Wicker Park, and it's a small but busy salon. The owner is Jamie Bushman, and we really hold a high standard in our technical ability, but also in our ability as a service provider. The focus is being the best stylist that we can possibly be and being as knowledgeable as possible, but at the same time, making sure that we're there to service a client's needs.
How do you decide your prices?
Setting your prices is actually a complex equation. You first need to figure out what your direct cost is, and basically how much does it cost to do what you do. So as a hairstylist, that includes the cost of the space that I'm actually working in and all the equipment that I'm working with. It includes the cost of the hair products that I use on each client, the shampoo, the conditioner, the styling products. I have to factor in the cost of my implements, my shears, which need to be maintained 3 to 4 times a year, my combs and clips and capes and gowns and towels. There's also the cost for ongoing education for me to partake in. And then after all of that, I need to be able to take home a living wage. So there's a lot that goes into it. It's just not a magical fairy dust number.
Okay. Do you like your job?
I love my job. I consider myself incredibly fortunate to have found it. It's afforded me a lot of opportunities in my life, in my career. I've been an employee, I've been a sole proprietor and worked independently. I've co-owned a salon with amazing colleagues. I've been able to be an educator. I've worked in-house education. I've taught for a company and was able to travel in teaching. And so, yeah, I love my job. I feel lucky to be part of this industry.
Okay. Do you want to be famous?
Girl, no. I do not want to be famous. I had the opportunity to put on a show one time. It was me and a colleague. We did 4 models. I did color, she did cut. And it wasn't a very big show. It was like 100 people came and we were on stage and we taught 4 colors and 4 cuts and talked about them and performed them in front of everyone. And that was an amazing experience. But I've also worked backstage at a show before, and I find that experience to be much more rewarding. I like the feeling of being part of a team and working in collaboration to create something versus being on stage talking at people. How boring is that? I'd rather be backstage with the team or having discussions with people. Does that make sense?
Yeah. How do you know why you are successful?
That is a really interesting question because I think that successfulness looks different to everybody. For me, I feel successful because I enjoy my work every day. I love my work environment. I love the people I work with. I love the clients I work with. That to me feels like a success. I feel successful because I can take care of myself financially. I feel successful because I have career options in what I do. So that to me feels like a success.
How do you feel taking over people how to what you do?
How do I feel teaching people how to do what I do? I love teaching. It's inspiring to me. There's a level of accountability that works really well with my personality. I do well with goals. And so if I have a class scheduled in a week, I'm going to spend that week learning as much as I can and really bringing enough content to the class to make it worthwhile to the students that are there. I love teaching because every single class I've ever participated in or taught, I walk away learning something. So for me, teaching is much more about creating an environment where it facilitates or allows people to learn something new, learn a new ability that they already have.
Okay, what advice do you have for someone who wants to be a professional hair stylist or color?
I think it's important before you go into any career to really meditate on what you want your life to look like, what you enjoy doing, what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses. Being a hairstylist is really hard. It's hard every day. You have to stand all day, you're working with people every day who don't always come in a good mood. And so it's not easy, but it is incredibly rewarding. And so I think it's just important to ask yourself a lot of questions about, would that environment make you happy? Or even get a job as a shampoo girl for a few months to really see if you enjoy being in that environment.
You have something else to tell us?
I am incredibly grateful to be here today, and I feel honored to be interviewed by you and be part of your podcast. So thank you so much for allowing me to come and share some of my knowledge that I have. I hope I answered your questions. Do you have any more questions for me?
Yeah. Do you think extensions is bad for your skin, for your hair?
That's a really good question. I think some extensions can be really hard on your hair if not properly maintained. Over time, they can start pulling out the hair's natural hair follicle, and they do take a lot of work and upkeep. So they can be bad for your hair, but there are advances being made in extensions that are more gentle on the hair.
SarahMya, thank you for being here on the show today.
Thank you so much for having me. That was really fun. I hope I answered your question.
Yes.
And please feel free if you have any more to contact me.
Okay, thank you.
The episode was produced by Sonia Dominguez
with production support for At the School Matters
and the Creative Impostor Studios. You can subscribe to our show on Apple Podcasts, Google Play Music, or Stitcher Radio.
Check us out on the website at poweryourstorypodcast.com
and on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram.
Thanks again for listening. Peace out. See you next time.